Hello and welcome to Qubit Networks Tech Talk for January 2022. I'm Josh Mandeville, the CTO of Qubit Networks, and I have with me today Chris O'Connell, a regional sales rep, and John Carney, a partner manager with Unitrends. How are you guys
Hey,
doing today?
hi Josh, thanks for having us on. Feeling good on a re-entry week here back from the new year.
That's
Hey,
right.
Josh, we're excited. Thank you for having us. Looking forward to talking about our solution and how we can help you and your customers.
Cool. How did you guys both get to where you're at with Unitrends and like your career path?
Yeah, fair question. Well, I started in the big DMR VAR world out of college, so kind of fell into the IT world, but glad I did. Got kind of my baseline training at one of those big DMRs, and ended up. I know it's kind of no, but ended up finding Unitrends as kind of a partner, and was able to get on board with them because I thought the technology was cool. And other than a few sniffs with some outside consulting organizations, I pretty much hung on with Unitrends in the backup world my whole career here.
Cool. How about you, John?
So similar, Chris, I started with a backup almost a decade ago. I've been with two competitors and really coming with now Unitrends. It's not to pump us too much. It's far superior with anyone. Really like the culture. Chris and I have been working together now for over 2 years. Enjoy working with people and just kind of educating and helping against protecting against ransomware out there. How do we help people get their data back? Because what we're seeing a lot of times, it's not necessarily if, it's when there's some corruption in someone's data.
Well, you said that. I was just going to ask you guys, how does Unitrends differentiate itself in the ransomware recovery market? Because that's a big topic today. We're seeing people get hit all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's a good question. We try to actually really stay generic on this. I know we're wearing, kind of the Unitrends brand here, but really we kind of look at backup as that last line of defense. And we want people to have some form of a true protection. And when I say that, I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there with how you can protect yourself against ransomware. Because of course, obviously, all the front end measures are great, but at the end of the day, most of the time where we're seeing ransomware get in is through the operating system. And even if you have some type of Linux repository locally, where I know a lot of the Windows kind of based solutions, that's kind of their go to these days to quote unquote get to immutability, you still leave yourself vulnerable if ransomware gets in through their operating system. So it has to act as a full ecosystem. So that's why even getting something as simple as a hard drive offsite to keep things air gapped, or more importantly, where the industry is going is obviously some kind of cloud, some type of immutable cloud. And something that can't be changed, and really more importantly, be able to be very easy to recover and predictable, so you know how that's going to run. Obviously, not cost you an arm and a leg.
Right. And
Yeah.
your guys' boxes are, just for clarification, you guys run Linux pretty much
We do.
as the
So we can
standard.
say that's it. You don't need to be an expert, if you will, as opposed to, hey, now I'm managing a Windows environment. Now I've got to spin up a Linux environment for some of those other solutions. I mean, yeah, we do deploy out of the box. That's kind of our first line of defense. But we will admit, I mean, that's not the end all be all. Yeah, that's why you have to have some other components.
And to Chris's point, really, everybody has a backup solution and everyone has their specialty and does it well. Where we really differentiate is the ability to actually spin up those virtual machines and test those environment in a production way. So you're verifying, are those backups actually working? And can we spin those up? And we actually give you a report that shows you, did they spin up, how long it took, and were they successful or not? So that's the key for us, is having that peace of mind at the end of the day of how are you testing it, and how can you prove if there's some corruption, ransomware, malicious behavior internally that you can get your data back. And that's where Unitrends can help you.
I actually saw an alert on a recent deployment of Unitrends. One of the backups gave a report that the backup thought that the backup of a specific machine might have ransomware because it saw a bunch of file changes inside the backup. And I thought that was pretty interesting to get that report inside of Unitrends.
Right. Well, back to the point of we're trying to protect it on a few different levels. Yeah, so we're trying to attack it from really three different levels. And the first, to your point, is, well, we touched upon it being Linux based out of the box. And then we even have that detection method. So obviously you want to have some type of solution that's going to start to understand your data and really get to those anomalies where there could be sleeperware or ransomware that's sitting dormant, maybe past your retention period that you might feel comfortable on. And sometimes all of a sudden you go back to recover that and you run into an issue. So to be able to get that early warning reporting is obviously important in real time, because sometimes you can stop that before a real attack gets going. And then on the last line of defense really is that recovery assurance and testing too, to have that verification piece. Once your data's offsite, of course you have the immutable cloud there. But if you were to even recover from that, what a lot of people don't know today is if you look into your cyber insurance policy these days, this is big, coming out in the new year too, as these policies renew. There's a little line that's going to say, hey, you need to verify and prove that your data is clean before we're going to pay out on any type of policy. And if you can't have that reporting easily, be able to spin that up and show not just estimates, that you have actuals, you might run into a little bit of an issue even on some cyber insurance these days.
That's very cool. Need to plan for when it happens rather than if it happens. Anything else you guys want to add on Unitrends, or anything you guys see coming up, or have any cool products coming out or anything like that?
I think one of the things Chris can kind of talk about our security offerings that we're now bundling in there, but what we're typically seeing is most IT departments are using anywhere from 2 to 5 different backup vendors, where we have the all-in-one solution. So we have a hardware option, we have a software option. And the other thing is we're able to customize our build to your environment in all under one single pane of glass. So that's something I like to make sure that people are aware of, is that we have a lot of different offerings and customization that we can help you with.
Any specific offerings that you guys really want to hit on? Like, I know you guys have some backup for Office 365 and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, so I mean, kind of that ideal customer comes to us and just says, "Hey, look, I mean, it actually just happened last month. I mean, they're using some software vendor going to somebody else's storage. They're using a third-party cloud, and they just moved to
I've
Office
seen that multiple
365.
times. Yeah.
Well, that's it. And actually, and they're spinning up Salesforce, and there comes a new requirement that they need to have some type of backup for that. So we just understand that data is living in all these different types of locations right now, and the one size fit all, or kind of cobbling it together, isn't going to necessarily work. Where we can actually be just one vendor, where it's one support line. We're not going to be the Ferrari on each individual one of those products, but as we work as again that ecosystem together, it puts together a solid back end solution that at least you have the confidence you can recover. Where some of those other vendors, you're kind of worried, which support number am I calling?
Yeah, and which screen am I looking at to make sure
Right.
that my backups happened, all that stuff. No, that's really important. I think especially as people in IT move forward and try to back up their solutions, the biggest pain is what you don't know. You're always afraid of what you don't know. And if you have one single person, one single vendor to go to and see all of everything's backing up, I mean, that just saves you time. It makes you reassured and a little less worried about in the middle of the night what's going to happen. And if it does, hey, I got something to help me.
For sure. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys. If anybody out there has any questions on Unitrends, be sure to reach out to Qubit. We'll get you in touch with these guys and we'll get a solutions going for you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for having
Thanks, Josh. Really appreciate the time today.